On everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your hosts, myself, Alex Fishbein, Dennis Clausen with me, Mike, still in tax season.
Hey, you gotta do those taxes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you don't want the IRS coming after you, so.
So I adjusted for the past couple of weeks. I'm sure people could hear like my heavy breathing. I've been trying to fuck around with the settings here on this mic, so hopefully it works out. But then I also had sloppy joes for dinner tonight, so the heavy breathing might be as a result of that because we put them away. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I haven't had sloppy joes in a while. Those growing up, I would put down like a whole pot of that stuff.
Yeah, my father-in-law made them.
Oh, okay.
They were the only two who like them, so he goes, "Hey, you want some sloppy joes?" I was like, I'm not going to fucking argue with that. So then I thought I was being healthy by eating two Yasso bars afterwards.
Oh, Yasso bars are good too.
They are good. But now when you have three of them.
True.
Like,
I mean, we just had dinner here and I just had like 6 Girl Scout cookies right before coming on here, so.
Yeah, okay.
Just the shortbread. We only have 2 boxes left now, so.
For a guy who can't taste, you sure eat a wide variety of food.
Well, I can eat whatever I want, and it's going to taste mostly the same. But I can taste like the major taste still. I can still taste sweet, salty, spicy. But like I can't taste... Yeah, but
is it all the same sweet?
Yes. So like any kind of cookie tastes the same. It just tastes sweet.
Does it taste good?
Oh yeah, it still tastes good because it's sweet and everything. But like I can't differentiate shortbread from chocolate chip.
I would lose my mind. I'm not going to lie. When I got COVID, I was honestly contemplating. I was like, please don't make even though if my taste did go, I would probably be 220 shredded. I'd look like The Rock right now because I'm like beef and chicken all the time. So what's the point of eating anything else?
See, I'm telling you, I thought the same thing until I realized the main thing I can taste is consistency. And like when you eat a salad, all it is just like salt from the salad dressing and then leaves, and like the consistency of the leaves just like got boring after a while, so it was just like I have to eat something else.
So speaking of leaves, I'm sure a lot of people are going to leaves if we don't start talking about
some basketball finally. I will say my guy Exiled Snipe, my guy Warren, he said you sound good so far with the mic. So
who does it?
That's he does sometimes like him and I play video games together, so he streams video games and that's his gaming channel. So
I don't sound like I'm having a stroke this week.
Exactly. Tyler's back too. What's up, Tyler? Thank you for coming back again. He asked if we're excited for Thursday.
Why? What's Thursday?
Sixers Nets.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
So we're gonna get into that. I'm not gonna make that the first topic, but we're gonna get into that. The first topic I will bring up is actually not even going to be an Atlantic topic because it's something been going around a lot right now. Russell Westbrook has gotten tons and tons and tons of hate mail and tweets, and the media has been giving him a hard time. Apparently, death threats have been sent to his wife and his family. And then Skip Bayless started getting into it with his wife on Twitter and everything. So, a lot of questions going around are people just saying like, yo, if you just made some shots, people would stop hating. But I disagree with that because everyone has been hating on Russell Westbrook, calling him a stat patter when he was breaking all the records for triple doubles. And there really has just been a very long list of things that people hate Russell Westbrook for. even though he's probably one of the most stand-up guys in the league. So, is this hate warranted? Is it way too much? Should there be a little bit of hate? Should there be anything? What do you think?
Not for him, there shouldn't be.
I agree. They're putting him as a scapegoat for the Lakers.
He's been the scapegoat all year. So
Oh, yeah.
nothing else is new. Production-wise, he's dropped a little bit. Of course, you're playing with LeBron. LeBron's still running the offense, but, Westbrook's, like I said, his production has dropped. Assists are down. Rebounds are down. Points per game is down. He can never shoot from three, so that doesn't matter. But when you look at the guys he's surrounded by on that team, how can you make a guy who is arguably one of the greatest players ever, how can you make him a scapegoat on that team?
I know. Like,
You see, some of your best players are Carmelo Anthony. All right, so outside LeBron James,
right.
who's 37, Anthony Davis, who misses 3/4 of the season, it seems, every year. So outside of those guys, you got Horton Tucker, a guy who basically they signed him at the expense of losing Alex Caruso. They have Carmelo Anthony, who's 112 years old. Malik Monk, who has played well at times. But then who do you have at center? LeBron was playing center.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, Dwight Howard. I mean, that team's a joke. And for them to be blaming it on Russ and talking about his turnovers, he has less turnovers this year than he's had during through most years of his career. So I don't understand why people are making a big deal about turnovers. Yep. When you have nobody to pass the ball to, of course you might have more turnovers here or there. The Lakers suck.
I completely agree. There's no reason one person at all should be considered a scapegoat on this team, regardless of who it is.
If I were to make a scapegoat, it would be Anthony Davis.
True. I mean, if there is anybody to say, like, hey, if he was healthy, we probably would be in a different spot.
I'd be in that situation right now. But the fact is, whether it's, genetics or his toughness or whatever the story is, you lock up a lot of money to take on Anthony Davis. And when he's not out there, this is what happens.
Yep, exactly. And as we've said countless times, the man can never stay healthy, so there's really not much that, your ceiling isn't going to be that much when you can't have him on the court. So the ceiling is never going to be reached of your potential if he's never out there. And to just say, Westbrook's missing all these shots, he doesn't look the same player as he used to be, blah, blah, blah. Well, first off, Westbrook getting older is never going to be the same player he used to be because a lot of his game was predicated on athleticism. Right. Any player who was that athletic, once they get past 30 years old, is going to start slowing down.
Right.
So that should have been a given from the first place.
He's got a lot of miles on the car.
Right.
But most of his miles have been productive miles.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, he's now the NBA history triple-double leader. He has plenty to his resume to say that he is one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game.
Right, and just like everybody else, too, he's no different. He's a drive to the hole kind of guy, so he's at the mercy, too, of the new rules, just like James Harden and Steph Curry and all these other guys. So, yeah, there's going to be a little regression there.
Right. And on top of that, it was we all were wondering what the Lakers were thinking by putting this roster together because the moment anybody got hurt, with how old the roster is, you knew it was going to fall apart. So Anthony Davis, ironically being the youngest of their best players, gets hurt. So now it's all the old guys, and it's not working. Just as everyone expected it to not work. And Westbrook, the thing with Westbrook that I see a lot is the fact that it's like the old Sixers where Embiid wasn't shooting from like the outside much just yet. So he was in the lane. Ben Simmons was in the lane. The other couple guys they had on the court were all in the lane because they're not 3-point shooters. So with a guy like Westbrook, who's a drive to the hole kind of guy, the whole lane is clogged with people because what else can they do? Like Dwight Howard's there in the lane. You got LeBron hanging out in the lane sometimes. You still have other guys like I can't even think of who the hell's on their team anymore. But like there's just a lot of people clogging the paint, so Westbrook's areas to go are all going to be taken up.
Yeah, there's no team chemistry. There's no and I've watched my fair share of Lakers games for some reason because a lot of the times they're just those West Coast games. It's like that or something else. So I'm just gonna put the Lakers on. I mean, what the fuck else am I gonna do? And it's not good.
No,
they're just not a good team.
No, they're hard to watch. Like it really is painful to watch.
And two, when you think about it, Westbrook didn't have these problems in Washington last season.
That's true. They made the playoffs.
And they were scaring some teams. They scared Philly.
Exactly.
A little bit.
They won a game.
I mean, they at least didn't look bad.
Right. I mean, Westbrook did well enough to force a fan to dump popcorn on his head.
And want to go beat his ass, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I mean, at this rate, Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell aren't looking so bad.
Right. Tyler says, sorry, go ahead.
I said not that they're better than Westbrook. It's just Westbrook doesn't fit on that team.
Right. And Tyler says once Westbrook leaves, he'll definitely be better. Yeah, I agree. I
110% agree with Tyler.
Yeah. Once you get him in a position that like actually fits his play style, he even did well alongside James Harden and everything in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So like he can play with other people. It's just this team consistency with no chemistry and with everyone being, like the elder statesman of the NBA except Horton Tucker. It just doesn't mix.
The Lakers' best chance is just to play as much ISO as they can with LeBron. That's it.
Yeah.
So they can. LeBron, from this point forward, LeBron should be taking about 57 shots a game.
Agreed, because that's the only way they're going to win.
Yeah, there should be no distributing. There should be no getting other guys involved. You have nobody to get involved.
Right.
Maybe Monk. Maybe.
Him. They've made
Carmelo Anthony once every 7 games. He's good.
Stanley Johnson's been able to revive his career for the Lakers just because there was nobody else.
Bro, they had to sign DJ Augustine.
Yeah, and Wenyen Gabriel.
I mean, what the fuck? And you're and you have the balls to say that, and these nuts Lakers fans are threatening Westbrook, and they say, fuck off with that shit.
I know.
The guy is way too good. If you threaten somebody because of the way he plays, I'm sorry, hold on. If you threaten somebody and you threaten somebody's fan, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. If you take anything outside of the basketball court and you start like tweeting at people or especially threatening family members and like the wife or kids or anything, yeah, you're a lowlife. Like, like that's beyond dumb.
And this is coming from a guy, guy's probably working at, 18 hours a week working at a gas station, and not even like a good gas station with like benefits and a 401k, like some shitty gas station. They're living in some crack house or in their mom's basement. And they're bashing a guy who's fuck off.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, well, if you make that much money, like you open yourself up to criticism. I'm not saying he can't be criticized. I'm not saying you can't say that he's not playing well. But death threats or throwing stuff at players on the court or anything remotely even close to that, no, that's way too fucking far.
If you want to go up to him and say, you want to say, Westbrook, you suck this year. You can't shoot. You're turning the ball over here. But all that shit is fair game. When you start threatening to kill somebody, you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, all these people doing this would never say this to his face.
No.
They probably, if they see him, they probably ask him for a picture.
Right.
or an autograph or something.
I've always liked Russell Westbrook. Always.
Oh, he's amazing. He was. I mean, he gives a pair of his shoes to a different kid after every single game.
He doesn't care what people think about him. He tells it like it is. He's not looking to be buddies with anybody. You know what I mean? Even with him on the same floor, it looks like he doesn't. If him and LeBron James didn't speak at all off the floor, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't either. I mean, really the only time we saw that, like, he was really good friends with anybody, like, I remember him and Kevin Durant were good friends because of, like, all the stuff that they used to post and back and forth when they were together in OKC. And then him and Cam Payne did, like, those dances before games and stuff. So, like, he'll be your friend as long as you're, like, not an idiot or anything. So, like, the guy, he just always seemed like the most stand-up guy in the league.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Patrick Beverley, I can't know of a guy who really doesn't say Russ is a piece of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even like him and Embiid have like a little feud, but they've never like...
No, but there's respect. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about those two, but there's a respect there.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
And even Embiid knows to watch himself around Russ.
Oh, definitely. And that's the thing. Like, Russ is a guy that I feel like if you got him...
we're calling him Russ, like we're buddies with him.
Like he's a long time pal.
Yeah, Russ.
I feel like he's a guy that if you got him mad, like he could do damage.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm cool.
Yeah, exactly.
No cap. I'm good.
But just to go, what I was going to say a little earlier about the Lakers.
Did I say that right, by the way? No cap?
Yeah, I think that's how the kids use it. But the Lakers, like, they waived DeAndre Jordan to sign DJ Augustine and Wenyen Gabriel. And everyone was talking about when the Sixers signed DeAndre Jordan, they were like, oh, you know, he's washed, he hasn't played well, he's like a shell of himself, everything. So I was at the game last night against Chicago, and the minutes that DeAndre got on the court, he actually looked a pretty serviceable backup. And I was like, is he really washed, or do the Lakers are they just that trash?
The Lakers are trash, and I was kind of pissed too that Brooklyn didn't utilize DeAndre Jordan a little bit more because that would have solved some of their rebounding woes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except they felt like getting out-rebounded by every fucking team in the league. Throw his big ass in there and see what happens.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the Sixers bench needed once they traded Drummond. They just need somebody to play defense and get rebounds. They don't need him to be another Embiid. Like, they don't need him to score 20 points a game or anything.
No, just get rebounds. They should be your sole purpose, DeAndre Jordan, is to go one for one from the field, and I want you shooting 3 feet from the basket. I want you to shoot 25% from the free throw line, and I'll take that.
Yep.
But I want you to get 14 rebounds a game. That's it. So and block a couple shots, and we're good.
Yeah, like that's the main thing they need, and like. He kind of did it. Like, he just kind of, like, when I watched him in the game last night, he had a big time block against the backboard. There was one that should have been a block but got called a foul. He even got to the free throw line, made both free throws. Like, he played pretty well in like 10 to 12 minutes. So
that's all you need to give him is 12 minutes a game.
Exactly. So, moving
on. All I
on.
smell is sloppy joes.
See, that's one thing I miss. I miss being able to smell.
You don't want to fucking smell this. Dude, I ate so many of those things.
I mean, I don't want to smell you, but just smelling in general.
No, I smell fine. I'm the most hygienic fat guy on the planet. I'm convinced.
Oh, okay.
I have.
I didn't mean
I
that to
have
sound sarcastic. I didn't know that.
no. I have a loofah. I have lotions. I have face wash. I do. I do it all.
Okay. Okay. That's impressive.
I got a bidet.
That I don't have. I've been thinking about it, but I don't have it yet.
Make your toes curl.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to run that by Deanna, see if we can get one.
I'm sure she won't have any problem with it.
But anyway, so moving on, I want to talk about these rumors with Bradley Beal. So Andrew Bogut talked about Bradley Beal saying in the offseason he reportedly wants to join up with James Harden and Joel Embiid. And we have a comment here from Chris that says, what would the Sixers have to do cap-wise to get Bradley Beal?
That would have been funny if he asked, so how do you install a bidet?
Turn into a how-to podcast.
We'll see, Chris.
Attach it to your toilet as so. But, I mean, cap-wise, they have to trade Tobias Harris. Like, that's the main thing. There's no way they're not going to be able to do it and keep Embiid, Harden, Harris, and Beal.
It would have to be like a sign and trade type of deal.
Exactly. Like there's no way that you keep all four. So with Washington, the thing is obviously Tobias Harris isn't going to be enough. So you're going to have to include some young guys.
I would take him. I'd be like, "Oh, that's it, sold."
If I was the Sixers and I only had to trade Tobias?
No, if I was the Wizards,
you would still only take Tobias?
I would take whatever I could get at this point. And you want to know, what the fuck are you drinking?
Oh, it's just non-alcoholic seltzer water.
So it's seltzer water.
Yeah. But because whenever I talk to my friends and I say I'm drinking seltzer, they automatically assume alcoholic seltzer. I don't know if it's... Go ahead.
No, I said because now seltzer's just transitioned to every company on the planet has alcohol seltzer.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, I don't know if it's because I'm friends with alcoholics or just because that there's a bunch of alcoholic seltzers, but yeah.
Well, for me, you'd see me going, is that the new Domino's seltzer?
If they did have them, though, I'd probably have some.
Goddamn right. No, my thing is, I would be very careful with Bradley Beal at this point now. You don't want it to turn into one of those John Wall contracts.
True.
So even if Harden and Embiid had these, wet dreams and all these fantasies about teaming up with Bradley Beal, I would be like, listen, boys, I fucking love you too, but we got to just think about what we're doing here.
Right. Yeah, I mean... And the bad part is, so Chris also said it would kill Maxi's development if they got Beal.
Nah, I don't think so.
As Washington, they probably would want Maxi.
Nope.
And that's the thing. You're not getting Maxi. Like this, there's no way the Sixers trade Maxi in that deal. And if they did, they would be insane. Because like you said, Bradley Beal is another guy he's getting hurt all the time. So you're going to trade this young up-and-coming who looks like he could be a star for Bradley Beal, who might be healthy, and if he is, okay, like, that would be decent and everything. Like, you would have a good offensive team. But then at that point, you still got to worry about signing enough role players to make yourself good, because say you don't even trade Maxi, but you probably have to trade Matisse. So there goes your best defensive player. So now you're looking at something like Harden, Beal, Danny Green, George Niang, and Joel Embiid is like a starting five. And then Maxey would probably be your sixth man off the bench. And then, but at that point, it's like, that's still a decent team. But to me, it's just like you're just waiting for Bradley Beal to get hurt again, and then you're back to square one.
Honestly, too, after that Sixers, after they made that trade for Harden, they got a little bit thin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think thinning out and I was thinking about this too. When you look at all the good teams in the league right now, like the Bucks and the Suns and the Warriors, even though the Warriors aren't playing the best, the Warriors still, their bench unit took it to the Nuggets last night. So this whole super team thing isn't working as good as people think it does. I think the teams with good bench depth is what is going to, make or break a lot of teams.
I mean, look at Milwaukee last season. You had guys like Bobby Portis making an impact. Brook Lopez was making an impact. Like, all of these other guys not named Middleton, Giannis, or even Drew Holiday are still making big impacts. So the moment you trade all those guys away just to have Harden, Beal, and Embiid, and you fill that in with a bunch of just aging people that are chasing a ring, it doesn't often turn out well. And like you said, with Golden State, what was it? Moses Moody had like 20 points. And then they also have Kuminga, who can put up 20 points at any moment.
The cup bucket.
Yep. Gary Payton II also has shown to be a very quality player. Toscano.
They could Belizia. So they've been even started Gary Payton a little bit too. Because I do watch Golden State games as well. But so they have the depth of where they can play around with things. And honestly, too, Brooklyn actually has a pretty goddamn good bench to them. Yeah. They have some good, adding Goran Dragic and, James Johnson's been playing well, especially when he has to start. Aldridge, Blake can get it. So Brooklyn has a good bench. Mm-hmm. You need these teams, though, like the Suns, like Cameron Payne plays fantastic. Cam Johnson plays well. JaVale McGee has played well from off the bench. He played well when Ayton went down. So you
need Biyombo.
Yeah, Biyombo. I mean, Bismack Biyombo was playing fantastic for the Suns. He had some really good games. So you need these teams that have good depth.
Exactly. And Chris even said, that's facts, super teams are overrated. You got to be at least 8 deep. Exactly. Because when it comes to...
Giggity.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't know nothing about that, Chris.
He's not that well endowed.
No.
But we know, we know rotations get shorter as the playoffs come around, but those first 3 people... sometimes 4 people off the bench still have to be of playoff quality if you really want to make any kind of noise. I mean, like you said, Brooklyn does have a pretty good bench. Like, even guys like Bruce Brown, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, is a very good role player who knows his role and plays it well.
I tell you, Bruce Brown's been shit hot too.
Yeah,
and then the fact too, like. Yeah, you're not as deep in the playoffs, but you need to be deep in order to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to have guys who can step up to make things easier for you moving forward.
Right.
I mean, Cam Johnson, that guy could be starting anywhere, and he comes off the bench in Phoenix, and he 38 points against the Knicks.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I mean, you even look at other teams like Denver, who, even though, yes, Jokic is doing a bulk of, the job to get them into the spot they are right now, but you bring back Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., and then this team looks deep again. Because all these guys have been starting now. They've gotten all this experience. They've gotten all this stuff to go along with the big 3 that they have. And they look like one of the deepest teams. The Clippers, if you bring back Paul George and Kawhi, with how good that they've been playing, with the depth that they have, that's another team.
Kawhi ain't coming back.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of depth, like, that's a team that has a very good amount of depth if you have the superstars to go with it.
Look at Bones Highland, Monty Morris, the Green Boy, like all those guys. Like, can play well. Like, so my fear is when you add a Bradley Beal and you skimping and clawing and looking for minimum contracts and things like that because you're so fucking capped out.
Right. And you get a Millsap.
You get a Millsap.
Yeah. That's my exact fear with this is so you do trade Tobias, you get off his contract, whatever. So, I mean, you're just taking on another big contract.
Sorry, hole in my chin.
What?
I said I had a hole in my chin, but fucking
it's all good. You get off of his contract, but you swap it for another big contract. But then, then you're scrounging literally the bottom of the barrel of guys that are pretty much just ring chasing, and they're at the ends of their career, and they're not. While they might give you one good game here and there, it's not going to be anything remotely close enough to do in the playoffs. So you get a team full, you get your big three, and then a team full of Paul Millsaps, and you don't get anything out of it. So is it really that worth it?
And I don't even hate Paul Millsap. He's just old.
Yeah. No, I always liked Paul Millsap as a player while he was still serviceable. He's just.
I mean, if this was Paul Millsap from 8 years ago, game on.
Oh, yeah. Like that Atlanta Hawks 70-win team that nobody thought would win 70 wins.
That Paul
Millsap. 60 wins, sorry. Yeah, that Paul Millsap would be
that Al Horford.
Yep.
Paul Millsap.
Kyle Korver.
Josh. Why am I drawing a blank?
Was it Joe Johnson?
No, Josh. The fuck? Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Headband Josh.
It'll come to me.
Jeff Teague was the point guard. Jeff Teague.
So Josh will come to me a week from now, so I'll know what I'm talking. I'll remember what I'm talking about a week from now.
Exactly. So
because I think too, I was trying to think of like, okay, let's just bring Andre Karolinko back, and I think when you try to think of all these names, like they just get.
Oh, they well, especially because with the Joshes, you got like Josh Richardson, but also Josh Johnson, and then there's like a bunch of other Joshes.
Yeah, we gotta stop with the Joshes.
I know. But anyway.
Fuck. God, I can't hate that I don't remember it.
Let's move on to something that should be quite interesting to talk about, especially because I know it's one of your favorite topics.
Josh Smith.
Of course, it's just another basic last name.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Josh Smith. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
I could picture him in my head when you were saying Josh.
I could too. I was like, what the? And I knew once I said his last name, I was like, you're an idiot. You can't even remember Josh Smith. Moving on.
So yeah, your favorite topic, Ben Simmons. It's there's been a report that he's going to file a grievance against the Sixers. And on Thursday, he will be at the game sitting on the bench, but not playing. And apparently, there was some very weird wording about this. It has been like talked about in circles, in basketball circles.
I hate when they use that expression.
I know. That he's going to use the reaction from the Philly fans as proof in his grievance to get money back from the Sixers that he couldn't possibly play in Philadelphia.
Well, for one, I don't think he needs any more evidence. All right. We've already talked about, mental health, and that's a hard thing to prove, and disprove.
True.
You know what I mean? You could have all the symptoms in the world, but at the end of the day, people display different symptoms of mental illness, depression, all that type of stuff. So it's going to be hard. I think that Philadelphia might just be like, I want to just be done with this and just move on from it. But honestly, I think this whole back thing is kind of bullshit. Mm-hmm. I think there were probably some concerns about him rushing back on the court too fast now that he was traded. So he didn't want to be like, oh, I'm healed. I'm in Brooklyn. I could play. I'm not sad anymore. So I think it's all bullshit. Now I think they're kind of saying his back. I would say there's probably a good bet that Ben Simmons is going to be back here shortly.
True. I mean, everything's been saying like not till April, and it's not likely that he's back in March and everything like that. But I mean, the fact that this whole back thing seems like bullshit should be something against this grievance. That that the mental health aspect isn't as big as he says it was.
Well, they say back pain's caused by mental illness, so.
Do they really? Is that a thing?
That's a true thing. They say if you get rid of your stress and your anxiety, it'll cure your back issues. All I know is there's some days where I feel just fine and I can't fucking get off the couch. So,
I mean,
I'm sure all the sloppy joes I ate.
Chris here says Ben should do some Charmin Ultra Soft commercials. just lean into it, you know.
Come on, Chris.
And Snipe says, "Where's the proof of him continuing the counseling?" That's a good question. I don't know if he is or not.
HIPAA violation.
Yeah, but they still had to report that he was seeing doctors and stuff before.
I don't fucking know. I just made that up.
But look,
Why does he need to show proof, though, that he's seeing a counselor?
I mean, to me, I feel like you should have to, so that we don't we shouldn't promote people faking mental illness. That's why I think it should be a thing.
I mean, the world is made up of fakers.
I mean, that's true.
Just ask my wife. She's been pretending like me for years.
Yeah.
Probably fake in other areas, too.
You did say you couldn't relate to the 8 deep, so.
No, fuck no. If I could get half of that, I'd be happy.
But to me,
are we kicked off the area?
I mean, it says we're still live.
Do we have FCC listeners?
But this whole thing to me just really sounds super petty and dumb to be like, oh, I'm only sitting on the bench to hear what the fans say and use it in my grievance. Like this is some like Real Housewives of Australia type of thing. Like, I'm sorry, you're only coming to the game because of this grievance, and you're not even playing. You're not even going to go out there and give it a shot and say like, okay, because you can accomplish the same goal and play, because you can go out there, have the fans boo you, and be like, see.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, maybe he's not healthy enough to play, but I think maybe by him coming to the game, he gets that first visit out of the way. Okay, so he gets that out of the way, so that he doesn't have to worry about it again. Right. So, on the flip side, if he's not there to play, then why is he there? It's a distraction.
That's another good question.
But at some point, you may have to get this out of the way, so you might as well just do it now. However, this is a pretty important game because time's ticking, and there's only so long that the Nets could say, well, we're going to get it together. Well, how much? You don't have that much time, so get your shit together.
Right. And Chris said Ben didn't want the mental health experts the Sixers wanted to go to. We did talk about that in a previous episode when that did come out, and that is also true. I mean, it's all just really crazy. Tyler said Ben should be kicked out of the league. That would be kind of funny.
Come on, Tyler's 1 for 2 tonight. He started off hot. And then, yeah.
And then Chris said, just because you have some mental illness, you still got to work. And that is true. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some mental illnesses that, yeah, you need to either go to, like, see some real big-time professionals, and you might not be able to work and stuff like that. But obviously with this, we're not talking about that kind of well, at least I hope we're not talking about that kind of mental illness.
I wanted to go see Dr. Kevorkian.
Who's Dr. Kevorkian?
Look it up.
Oh, God. Maybe I shouldn't have asked.
No, he's the guy that helps talk people into killing themselves.
Oh, okay.
Bad joke.
If I knew what you were talking about, it might have been a good one, but yeah.
Well, it was. You ruined it because you don't fucking know anything.
I know.
About Dr. Kevorkian.
Yeah. So yeah, the main thing, like you just said, it's a distraction with him just being there. So like for the Nets themselves, their next probably the rest of the season, they have to treat every game as a must-win game because right now they're at like what, the 9th seed?
Yeah, 9.
So like with Ben, say he's not gonna play, he's sitting the bench, and then they get a play-in game. There's a possibility they have to play the Sixers in the first round if they win their play-in.
So there's pros and cons to this situation. So like I said, the pro is you get this distraction. Not the first time is going to be the worst time. So once you actually do it and get it over with, then it's all downhill from there. Mm-hmm. However, if he's just there for his grievance reasons, I'd be like, listen, man, do that shit on your own time. We got to fucking win here.
Yeah, exactly. Because now the whole team is going to, like, they're not going to have to worry about it, but, like, now you're bringing them along with you in this whole thing.
You think Kobe Bryant would allow this shit?
Oh, hell no.
No, he'd be like, you ain't coming to that game.
Even LeBron would be like, stay home.
I don't know about that. LeBron would try to spin it. Well, you don't want him there because he's mixed and you're racist against his. He would do some shit like that. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, there's definitely a possibility he would do that too. But Chris asked if you're a Nets fan.
Yes, I am, Chris. I don't want to admit that, but I have my. This was a Nets draft T-shirt that has just faded because I've worn it so many times.
I'll have my Sixers stuff up there at some point when I'm not too lazy to find.
And I think I got some Sloppy Joe on it. Like, I'm embarrassed to be a Nets fan. Like, when the season started, I was like, I had my Nets shit. I was like rock hard. I was like, I'm a Nets guy. Like, and then I would say, I'm not a front runner. I've liked the Nets a lot. And I was like, people were like, wow, he's a Nets fan. And now I'm like embarrassed.
I mean, I remember seeing they're only like the third or fourth team or something like that to have the record that they started with in the first 30 games and then and then drop to below 500 later the same season.
Yeah, well, losing Durant definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I was very encouraged by how well they played against Boston on Sunday, but it's something about those matinee games on Sundays on ABC, those nationally, that I'm just like, this is not ever going to end well.
I know.
For some reason, you watch those games, something bad it's never.
It always feels weird to watch a basketball game at like 1 p.m. too.
On a Sunday.
Yeah. Like, it just feels wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like I had just eaten like 2 breakfast sandwiches from Dunkin', and I had a iced coffee, and I was like not even like fully processing what was going on, and I was like, oh shit, it's 1 o'clock, the Nets are coming on, and then I just sat there and wanted to go see Dr. Kevorkian afterward.
And then Jason Tatum drops 50 points and beats the Nets again.
Yeah, but I mean, I still was encouraged though, because they were winning at one point. They were playing well, and the Celtics didn't get out of there easy. True.
So, no, it was an entertaining game. I watched that whole game. It was fun to watch, at least. And, well, I should say as a person who's not a fan of either team.
Yeah, and then I think the second game on Sunday was, what am I thinking? The Suns. I don't fucking know. It's something.
Tyler says that you always have jokes on deck. So I think he's 2 for 3 now.
No, he's back. He's 3 for 3 now after
Okay.
that.
Oh, that's a bonus. All right.
I
And
don't
then
think they're good jokes though, Tyler.
I would say most are.
As
And
long
then
as they're better than Ben Simmons' free throw percentage, my percentage of good jokes, I'm okay with that.
there you go. I mean, that's not hard to do. Chris said Ben and Kyrie would win the Diva Tag Team Championship in the WWE.
Well, they no longer use that term diva. It's the women's tag team champions.
Well, why can't they be divas anymore?
Because you need to empower women, and when you say divas, you're not giving women the credibility that they deserve.
But what happens if they want to be called a diva?
Then that's on them.
True. But yeah, I mean, my last remaining thoughts on this are just kind of if it's true that he's really just sitting on the bench for this whole grievance thing, that's incredibly selfish. Just to the rest of the Nets. Like, you're not even thinking of being there to help or being on the court to help. You're just there because, like, oh, this will help me in my grievance case. And B, you're also just making matters worse for the next time you're actually on the court in Philadelphia and making matters worse again for the Nets this season when everything like this is every road game especially is a must-win because Kyrie's playing.
Every game is a must-win for them at this point.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, even more so on the road because you have almost the full team.
Right.
Those are, like, especially must-wins.
Right. I agree.
So, yeah. I mean, the whole thing's dumb, and everyone just needs to get past it, play damn basketball, and get to the playoffs so we can just, like, get to the, like, through this stupid storyline already.
Well, there's always going to be one dumb storyline.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we got Westbrook in L.A. We got the NBA is full of stupid. The dumbest storylines on the planet come from the NBA.
True. They do have some really dumb stories.
But then I get sad this time of year because I'm like, okay, well, the snow's melting, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I kind of like the snow because I don't really want to leave my house. And it was nice the other day, and everybody's like going for a walk, and they're like, now that we got this dog, and they're like, you want to go for a walk? And I'm like, no, I'm watching the Nets.
But then you don't have that excuse once the season's over.
Once the snow's gone, yeah.
So, speaking of people who don't leave the house, Zion Williamson.
He's coming over after we're playing Xbox.
And drinking Mountain Dew.
And get Domino's.
All of a sudden, people are saying he's healthy. All of a sudden, I think it was Bill Simmons said he dropped like 27, 30 pounds. And all of a sudden, he might play this season when they talked about he's supposed to need another surgery. If he comes back, does that make the Pelicans like a dangerous playoff team? Do they make the playoffs? Do they win the play-in?
I mean, the Pelicans they're playing okay right now. I mean, they're doing enough to at least stay in the hunt to make a play-in.
True. I mean, the trade they made to get CJ McCollum over there has worked out pretty well.
Dude,
so far.
CJ's playing out of his fucking mind right now. I think he's averaging like 27 points a game since he's been in New Orleans.
He needed that change of scenery.
So when you think about the team that the Pelicans have, you have Ingram, you have CJ, Devontae Graham. When he, every 4 games he's good. Valanciunas is good. Jackson Hayes, and all these guys in New Orleans. They're not a bad team.
True.
And when you throw Zion back in there, just my concern is like, okay, if we start playing well, is it the time to add a new element to a team, or you just say fuck it and just roll with what you have and tell Zion we'll see you next season?
Right. Because, I mean, you definitely don't want him to either re-injure himself or re-aggravate the same injury or whatever it may be, and then lose him for even the next whole season. So I would love to see him play. Like, I want to see him on the court healthy and everything because he's fun to watch. But I feel like there's a lot that could go wrong, especially if he's still eating all the gumbo in sight. So,
hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
true. Hey, I'm gonna be in New Orleans next month, and I know I'm gonna eat my share of gumbo. So
Can't taste it, but you know.
but I'm gonna eat it. Gonna eat it anyway.
Man.
But I mean, they would definitely be a team if Zion comes back and he's playing his normal minutes. I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs, especially the play-in game. It would be hilarious if they played the Lakers in the play-in game and just destroyed the Lakers.
Ingram hits a game winner.
Yeah.
I would love that.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the Pelicans, they can certainly do some damage.
True. Because we obviously haven't seen CJ and Zion together yet, so that could potentially be a very good match right there. And like you said, I mean, Ingram's still there, Valanciunas is there. They also got Larry Nance in that trade, who isn't healthy yet, but like as a backup big man could give them some serviceable minutes. Devontae Graham. I mean, you like this coming offseason, if you just get them a little bit of bench help and maybe another point guard or something, could definitely be a very good team.
I think CJ McCollum is ready to be the guy on a team.
I think he could do it.
I mean, he always played better. I mean, he played really well during the times when Dame wasn't playing. So
True.
he's shit. If he keeps playing like this, watch out.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Tyler said that was a perfect transition before, by the way. I appreciate it.
That was really good. I was going to say that was fucking great.
And Tyler also said Zion injuries could be what Embiid was, and hopefully not Greg Odom.
Facts.
That's true. Facts. No cap.
Well, I think if Zion comes back and he gets hurt, then you really got to take a look at what's going on. Like, do we keep this guy around or do we bring him back and have him play some, time? And hopefully he has a good stretch where he stays healthy and then we can get rid of him.
Right.
While his stock is higher. But I think if something like this happens again, then you really got to look at it and say, it's not working.
Especially before you sign him to that next contract.
Right
now on that rookie contract, it's okay because you're not paying him much. But
remember when he was? Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
No, I was just gonna say, as the number one pick, usually they command a lot of money.
But remember when he was coming into the league, everybody was talking about whether he could stay healthy or not with that frame of his.
Like they're saying with his frame and how crazy athletic he is, like
right,
jumping with that much weight on his knees all the time is not a recipe for success.
Right. Now the only thing that's helping him is he's young. If he was older and was doing that, there's no way he could sustain that.
No. I've been jumping for volleyball like my entire life, and my knees are already like going to dust, and I'm only 27. So with 200 more pounds on me, jumping that much, there's no way in hell.
Well, I'll let you know the next time I jump how well that works out. Because I probably got you by 2.
I mean, I'm like
what
185.
My math isn't the best. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it was 181 something.
Yeah, I mean,
like 160 pounds I got on you.
Oh, okay. I mean,
it's not easy to move when you're a big dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Zion. Like with how crazy athletic he is, I don't know how. I just don't get it. But
like you get to that point where you're like, am I taking the elevator or am I taking the stairs?
Exactly.
And I know which one I'm taking.
I know which one I'm taking at that point too. But real quick, we touched on this for a second. There's been rumors about Paul George and Kawhi somehow coming back and being healthy enough, like right before the playoffs. If they do, does that automatically put the Clippers in like the top 5 title favorites?
No.
No, you don't think so? Even with how well that they've done without those two?
No, because I think if they were so good, they would have been good before when they had Paul George. I think they're in ways they're kind of better now.
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely a good argument for that.
And, I mean, Paul George isn't the answer for every. And I don't. I said it at the start of the season. I don't know if you guys remember. I said Kawhi's not coming back.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Do you think he's not coming back for the rest of his career or just this season?
No, just this season.
Okay.
No, he'll be back. But even when the injury happened in the playoffs last year, they were being so vague with how they were reporting it. Oh, he has a knee injury and he's questionable. I'm like, he's not fucking questionable. He tore something. There's no way in hell. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, if I tweeted that out at the time, I would be like Adrian Wojnarowski because I was calling that. I'm like, he had to have tore something.
Yeah.
For him not to play, like, during the playoffs, like, you had to have done some serious damage. And then miraculously comes out, yeah, he tore his ACL or MCL or whatever the fuck he tore. And then now this is where we're at. He's not coming back this season.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think so either. And
no.
I agree with you. If Paul George is your number one player, you're not winning a title.
I say just keep they're 7-3 the last 10 games. Morris is playing well. Reggie Jackson's playing well. Zubats is playing well. All these guys are fitting together really well on that team. Just leave it alone.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to win a title with Paul George and Kawhi back anyways.
Right.
So you might as well do what you can to keep them healthy for next year, but just run with what you got.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Tyler says the Clippers could go very far when healthy. They do. I mean, they definitely have the potential to go very far if they're healthy. They have the potential to be a very, very good team if they're fully healthy, but that's the issue is that...
Yeah, but my whole thing, too, is I'm not going to get to a point, okay, so we got like 16, 15 games left for these teams, right? Mm-hmm. So Kawhi can't be that close to where he's... Say he is hypothetically going to... What are you going to do, bring him back in game 3 of the playoffs when you're gonna have him play 10 minutes and disrupt the whole flow of everything?
Yeah, true.
It's not worth it at that point.
No, it's really not.
Because I'm not going to throw Kawhi after just losing him for a year. I'm not going to throw him out there for 36 minutes a game.
Oh yeah, no. It like we were just talking about Ben Simmons. They're talking about even just for Ben that they're ramping him up to play. So if Kawhi comes back, like you're just not going to ramp him up. You're just going to throw him out there.
Yeah, there's a difference. So Kawhi's got about 10 years on Ben Simmons.
True.
You got to take it easy. Ben Simmons literally, and Ben Simmons didn't tear anything. He just, throw him out there.
True.
I'll be like, oh, welcome back. You're playing 32 minutes tonight. Welcome to Brooklyn.
But their wording about all that it was funny to me when they said like they're ramping him up. To ramp him up. I was just like, you got to ramp this guy up 3 times?
It wouldn't surprise me if they had somebody breastfeeding him on staff.
Oh, my God.
But I agree. The Clippers could be any team that has Kawhi Leonard is going to be a fantastic team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at, like, when the Raptors won the finals. The Raptors right now are probably just as good as the Raptors were then if you take Kawhi off. So the moment you put Kawhi back on, they could win a championship.
I love the Raptors.
I know. They're a great team.
I mean, they've been playing like shit lately.
Right. But I mean, Fred VanVleet's been hurt too.
Right. But I think if the Raptors are healthy, they're just as good as most of the teams in the Eastern Conference. They could foreseeably they could make the Eastern Conference Finals.
They definitely could. They have a shot. I mean, they're pretty well coached. They have a lot of length, a lot of athleticism. They have a lot of good defensive talent, and they can go off on anybody at any given moment offensively. So
I'm still not giving up on the Bulls. I'm not giving up on the Bulls. DeMar DeRozan is playing too well to give up on Chicago right now.
he is, but it's just the thing that worries me about the Bulls is the fact that this year they're 0-9 against the Sixers, Bucks, and Heat.
I get it, but I'm still not giving up on them.
Okay. I got you.
And fuck the Heat.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what they're going to look like by the time the playoffs come, so.
But they're another one of those teams, too, though, that have depth.
That's true. They have a lot of depth. And Oladipo just came back.
Yes, and he had 11 points, four rebounds, I think, last night. I mean,
something like that, yeah.
So you have Oladipo, and then you got, like, Gabe Vincent, and I can't pronounce his last name. Yurts, you know who the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. You're 7 or something like that.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
I don't know how it's pronounced either. Omar's his first name, I think, or Omer. It's O-M-E.
Yeah, you're 7. You're whatever. Dwayne Dedman.
On Basketball Reference, it says. Oh, they don't even have a pronunciation with it.
Yeah, see, even Basketball Reference doesn't want to touch it.
It just says his nickname is Big Yurt.
Okay, that works. I mean, so they got Dwayne Dedman. They have one of the Morris twins. So they have good players on their team.
Yeah. Derek Jones Jr. is on there.
No, Derek Jones Jr. is on the Bulls.
Oh, no, he's on the Bulls. That's right. He was on the Heat, then went to the Bulls. Right. Tyler says that you should give up on the Bulls.
No, come on, Tyler.
Back to 3 for 4.
Nah, I like Tyler. Tyler's been here every week, I think. So I appreciate the fuck out of that. So thank you.
Yes. No, I appreciate that greatly, Tyler. Definitely don't take that lightly. So to get into our last topic of the night. Luka, Ja Morant, Trae Young. Who are you starting a team with? And while you're talking, I will share my screen here and show some of the stats because these guys are all star players. So
even before you show me anything, I already know in my brain. So was it stat views? There you go.
Yeah. So there's all 3 of them. So who you starting your team with?
Honestly, I'm still gonna roll with Luka.
Okay.
And Luka has been better for longer.
True.
And Luka's been healthier than Ja Morant has.
Okay.
So Morant has missed time this year. He missed time last year. He's more prone to pick up injuries than Luka is. Are they on the same level? I still think Luka's a little bit better. I think Luka offers more. He's a better all-around player. I think Morant's a better scorer than Luka is in some ways, but
right.
I think he's just more. I can't see your screen, but I mean I see it up there, but I just can't read it because I'm old. But
I should be able to zoom in a little. Oh. Is that any better?
All right, I'm gonna get really old here. I'm still keeping Luka. So
I mean, yeah, Luka, I think to me, I think Luka's like the easy answer.
Right.
He should be the guy that you're starting a team around, especially now. Like before, when he was still a little husky, I was starting to think like maybe he was just like coasting a little too much. But now that he's like he shed some weight, he's got different attitude. He's like really stepping up and even just getting better and better and better every time. I would pick Luka too, and I would actually put Trae Young as a close second for me. I love Ja Morant. I love his game. But whenever I see guys like Ja Morant who their game is predicated on crazy amounts of athleticism, their game just almost never ages well.
And Trae Young, though, Trae Young literally turned around a Hawks team last year into a legit team. Yeah, the Grizzlies, Morant's doing the same thing for the Grizzlies, but I think the Grizzlies are better constructed than the Hawks were last year.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, Trae Young became like the supervillain of the NBA playoffs last year.
Right. But the Europeans, though, like, even when they're fat, they're still good. Like Jokic, when he's fat, he's still good.
True. I agree. They are still good, but like now that he's even taking that serious, I think that's another leg up for Luka. And Chris says Luka by far. Ja plays too reckless, to be honest, but they're all great players, though, for sure.
Yeah,
all very great players at the top of their game.
Yeah, but I agree with the reckless thing because Morant just he goes crazy and sometimes he gets hurt.
Oh yeah, some of those lobs, it looks like he's gonna like bang his head off the backboard.
Luka's like, I'm just going to stay fat so they don't expect me to do anything.
And Trae Young is like, I'm too small for this, so I'll just shoot the ball from 40 feet out. I'm just going to shoot
all the time, yeah. So it worked for him. I just think Ja's like way too injury prone at times.
I know.
I mean, when he hurt his knee, I think he hurt his knee this year. I thought his leg, they're going to have to amputate his leg.
Yeah, that looked bad.
Because he was like so like, I'm like, God, this guy.
Yeah. And the thing for me with Trae Young, too, is, I mean, stat-wise and just watching the game, he's the best passer of all three. I mean, Trae Young doesn't really get the credit he deserves, I think, for his playmaking ability. I mean, I know that one of his biggest things is the lob, but, like, there's been plenty of great point guards that have made livings off of just the lob itself. I mean, look at Chris Paul and the Lob City Clippers. Look at James Harden and all the big men he's played with in Houston and everything. So that on top of like the fact that he's averaging 9-10 assists a game with the Hawks team that he's had the last few seasons. Not saying that they're terrible shooters, but like his supporting cast definitely isn't as good as some of these other teams have. So
either way though, I'm just gonna say it. I like this next batch of NBA players. I'm talking LaMelo, Trae Young, Morant, Luka. Like, I like this group to take over the NBA, and we can get rid of LeBron. The league is going to be so much better when we don't have to deal with his bullshit anymore. And I'm not a big LeBron guy, but when you're talking about, like, he's turning it into a circus. He's talking about playing with his son and blah, like, well, let's get at it. I don't care about you playing with your son. I want to see good games. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I definitely, I'm excited that this group of Darius Garland, like Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, like, I love this group of guys that are going to be leading the NBA for the next 10, 12, 13, 14 years. So
I agree. I mean, even like the star players that are in that are like 25, 26, like Jason Tatum or like any of those guys too. Like it's just a great group all around to like really take the league to another level.
When you get rid of these prima donnas like Beal and LeBron and Kyrie, all these just dweebs who just say stupid shit and like are soft. Like when you get rid of these guys, things are going to be so much better.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I like Luka too because Luka talks shit He gets under people's skin. He gets technicals. LaMelo Ball's a wise ass. Like, I love that.
Trae's taking a bow at Madison Square Garden.
Perfect. And that's what we need more of.
It's...
Because you know I hate that banana boat crew.
Oh, definitely.
I never want to see 4 guys on a banana boat.
Do you think the first time they all retire, they're going to jump right on the banana boat?
You can do whatever you want when you're retired.
Oh, God.
Fucking banana boat.
But no, I love when the league is in a place where, like, everyone is, like talking trash or, like, you know, showing off for, like, the fans, like, taking that bow and everything. Like, that was amazing. Like, Embiid, like, you know, calling to the fans to get loud and stuff. Because, like, when, like, my very first foray into basketball was watching, like, Allen Iverson in the playoffs, like, cup his hand to his ear and, like, scream with the fans and everything.
Hulkamania.
Yeah. Like, that kind of stuff is what makes the game fun. It's what makes watching it fun. It's what makes going to the games fun. Like, yeah.
I want to see the Pistons, you know, the bad boys, Pistons, and, you know, all that. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah.
I don't want to see people hugging after a game. I don't want to see any of that stuff.
No, I agree.
No cap.
And the last comment here, Down the Block Sports, which is what our guy Alec, that is his channel. Make sure you guys go check them out. He says Jason Tatum is really good at basketball.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't want him to get mixed in with. I don't want him hanging. You know when, like, your mom was like, "I don't want you hanging out with him."
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I don't want him to get mixed in with, like, Bradley Beal or, like, I would rather have him, like, associate with, like, a Luka or,
right.
You know, he needs to keep that edge.
I agree. Like, he's a guy that really will go at anybody, no matter if he's friends with them or not, and, like, drop 50 at any given moment. So keep that instead of trying to make another banana boat.
Right.
We don't need, like, a pineapple boat. Keep off the fruits.
Right. Just don't. I don't ever want to see people hanging out with. Unless you're on the same team, I don't want to see each other hanging out at all.
Exactly. But I think that's it for us. Unless you have anything else to get off your chest other than sloppy Joe crumbs.
No, I'm in. It's gonna be a Prilosec kind of night for me.
I feel that. But that is it for us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for watching.
Like, thank you too. Like, the guys, like, who are here posting, and like, it's fucking awesome. We, like, appreciate that.
Agree. We love all the comments. Love seeing them. Love talking with you guys. Tyler just asked, do we have a schedule when we go live? So we don't have a set schedule every single week.
I was going to talk to you about that, though. I'm glad Tyler brought that up. So.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it off stream. But
you sure you want to do it here?
Yeah. But we try to get on usually Monday or Tuesday nights. It's been tough with tax season with Mike, so we've been bouncing around days lately. But usually we're on Monday or Tuesday night, and usually sometime after 6:30. So you can count on those, and then it might be different. But we'll always post across all our social medias when we're going live. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search The Atlantic Files. We'll be on there, and you'll see when we go live and everything like that.
Tell your friends, too.
Yes.
Please.
Definitely tell everybody. But thank you, everyone, for listening and watching another episode of The Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. We are everywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google, everything. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, drop a like below. Thank you, everybody, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.